every truck has its story, and ours kind of started off with both me and my dad are quite entrepreneurial, so we have the spirit that we really want to do our own thing and be our own boss as well. Dad had 30 years experience as a chef, and I obviously love hospitality as it is. I love the service side, love food, and I wanted to learn more.
We started our pizza van nearly 2 years ago. It was my partner's midlife crisis, and he's since gone back to work, and now I run it. My partner Remy's from the south of France, and in France there's a pizza truck on every corner, so he really missed pizza. At the time there was no one in Melbourne who had a pizza truck. It's a pretty involved project. We kind of decided on using an Airstream, but because we were using a 500 kilogram oven, we needed to have the support base. So we sourced an old caravan, but then we had to have it, built, and it took almost a year just for the build.
Food truck owners in Melbourne are taking their passion to bring a new style of food scene to Melbourne suburbs. But they face challenges in relying on unpredictable street trade and finding somewhere to trade from. Some councils do not permit food trucks at all, while others, such as the City of Melbourne, have strict regulations.
The council is so tight, and there's only, you've got to pay a lot of money, and you have to be nominated through tender process. And there's only 9 designated spots in City of Melbourne.
I think it depends on the council. Our council's pretty friendly. We're with Maribyrnong, and at one point there were like 25 food trucks turning up at Yarraville Gardens. Unfortunately, because a few locals complained, they decided to really rein that in, and now there's only 10 allowed at any one time.
The council had 25 permits for that area, and you're only allowed 10. So can you imagine what would happen at 11:30? 25 trucks would come down and try and take the spot. So it was basically, there was a few times where we would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to go there at 7 o'clock in the morning to just make sure that we get a spot just before 11:30.
These challenges have inspired new venues in the food truck community. One of these is Welcome to Thornbury, located in the Darebin Council area in Melbourne's inner north.
One of the main things we noticed with food trucks in Melbourne is obviously quite a lot of food trucks, but there's not a lot of places for them to trade. Where there are places for them to trade, it's either street trading, where it's obviously not ideal in the depths of winter, or in the peak of summer for that matter, or it'll be at events which are probably, maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. So what we try to do is provide a permanent home for the food trucks, and through that provide a national and international destination for people who enjoy food trucks.
The site was opened in August this year after a 2-year process.
We originally found the site, and since then we've been working closely with council and all the food trucks involved. And since then we've been absolutely amazed by how popular it's been and the success of the venue.
Prior to Welcome to Thornbury, we were doing a lot of Yarraville Gardens as our street venue, and that had just started to die down. I think unless you have a group of trucks together, it just doesn't have the same kind of following. As soon as you've got 3 or 4, in this case 6 trucks in one place, it really gets the crowds in, and that works for everyone.
The Coburg Drive-In Cinema also regularly hosts food trucks in festival events run by the Australian Mobile Food Vendor Group.
They kind of saw the boom, and they really have, I guess, what you'd want in a food truck box: a bit of friendly environment, a lot of good music and good selection of trucks, which was the main thing.
Some operators are also changing their focus from street trade to private events.
We just got approached, and our truck is slightly more versatile. It's really pretty looking, we put our festoon lights on, and so for private functions where it's like a wedding or a party and they can share the food, it really works well to have pizza.
Food truck and venue operators say they believe food trucks can become a permanent part of Melbourne's food scene and complement existing restaurants.
Food trucks aren't aiming to be, on every street corner, but aiming to be at parks, but aiming to be at places where there can't be food for the community, and have something that is really destinational and attractive rather than competing necessarily with all the high street operators.
You're not trying to compete, you're just trying to build something new.
Next order, next.